And good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us as we discuss Hurricane Dorian and its impact here in Orange County. Joining us this morning are these elected officials: Orange County Commissioner Maribel Gomez Cordero, Orange County Commissioner Christine Moore, Orange County Commissioner Victoria Siplin, Orange County Commissioner Emily Bonilla, and Orange County School Board Chair Teresa Jacobs. Speaking today to give us information as it relates to Hurricane Dorian will be our Mayor Jerry L. Demings, Keith Koch, the Acting Emergency Manager, Orange County Fire Chief James Fitzgerald, Orange County Sheriff John Mina, and then to give us information about what's happening with our schools will be Orange County School Board Chair Teresa Jacobs. So to get us started, to give us a broad overview of what's taking place, our Mayor Jerry L. Demings. Mayor.
All right, thank you, Dr. Williamson, and thank you to all of you for being here. Good afternoon. In preparation of Hurricane Dorian, I have declared a state of emergency for Orange County. This will allow emergency operations to provide necessary resources and staff to assist our residents for the impact from Hurricane Dorian. Our current activation level at our Emergency Operations Center is level 3. What this means is the county is staying tuned to the State Emergency Operations Center and the National Weather Service for updates and emergency coordination through daily conference calls and electronic communication. However, later today, we will ramp up the county's preparedness efforts, and we will be going to level 2 with our Emergency Operations Center. This means the county is coordinating and developing action plans with various agencies to ensure we are prepared and ready to see the community through this storm effort. Tomorrow, we will be at level 1 at our Emergency Operations Center, which means that we will be fully staffed and running all county departments from that location. We want you to know that the county's emergency response is well underway and preparedness efforts are also well underway. Some of the departments and the various leadership from our various subunits within the county are working today to ensure that we can respond to whatever the needs may develop in the coming days. We will open shelters on Sunday to serve those who need to evacuate and a need of a place to essentially ride out the storm. We also have a plan in place to serve residents that need assistance through our People with Special Needs program. This program serves residents that require medical help and are unable to get a shelter of their own. Registration is required for the Persons with Special Needs program. You can sign up by simply contacting us through the 311 system. So from a landline phone or from a cellular phone, you just simply dial 311 here within Orange County, and you can sign up for the special needs services. We will have pet-friendly shelters for those who need them. All shelters will open beginning on Sunday, September the 1st. We will release the list as soon as it is available. You'll be seeing a list of the various shelters later today. For county operations, we will continue our emergency response and remain closed for county operations for normal business hours next week on Monday and Tuesday. Monday, of course, is the Labor Day holiday, but county operations will at this time be closed also on Tuesday. We'll wait for further information on the track of the storm before we decide whether or not to close county operations on Wednesday. There will not be any garbage collection for county residents on Monday or Tuesday as well. We'll wait to make a determination when we will begin garbage collections as well early next week. Our sandbag distribution locations will be open until 9 p.m. tonight and on Saturday while supplies last. Already, we have given out more than 50,000 sandbags for residents of our community. Now let me talk to the residents a bit here. This is a great time for our residents to begin preparing your home and getting your emergency supplies in order. And stay tuned to our local television networks for additional information. You may also go to the county's website at ocfl.net, and residents can call our 311 service center to get assistance for non-emergencies as we prepare for the storm. There's also an app you can download now on your smartphones. It is called OCFL 311. OCFL 311. The app is free, and you can find it at the App Store for iPhones and on Google for the Android phones. The app will also contain the latest information on where current residents can get assistance during the storm. At this time, I would like to call on our Acting Emergency Operations Director, Mr. Keith Koch, to come forward and share some information with you. He'll be followed by our Fire Chief, and then Sheriff Mina, and then School Board Chair Jacobs will follow after that.
Thank you, Mayor, and thanks everyone for your attention to this storm coming up. It's been a slow process, as you're well aware, if you've been following the storm and monitoring the progress. It's slowing down a little bit, which is going to cause us some additional challenges, I believe, over the next few days. The latest track has it coming our direction later on this weekend. The onset of tropical storm force winds, which is a key indicator when we want people safe in their shelters or their homes, should approach us at the earliest Sunday evening. This will be a long-term event. It's not going to be a quick event like Hurricane Charlie was or even Hurricane Irma was. Many, many hours we will be under those tropical storm conditions, quite possibly leading up to some hurricane or Category 1 hurricane conditions later on Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday even. So we want everyone to continue monitoring the storm. Key safety issues, please be safe using generators. Many of us have purchased generators over the last couple of years. Please, please heed the safety warnings and messages that your local government is putting out on how to safely operate that. We care about your safety. We want you to survive this storm with no issues. Be patient with lines at stores, lines at gas stations, and things like that. We will get through this, no doubt about it. Orange County is a very strong county, a very well-prepared county. Again, monitor the storm conditions and heed the messages and warnings that local government is putting out. I'd like to bring up Chief James Fitzgerald, Fire Chief.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for being here to help us spread this important message. I want to assure everybody here and the citizens out in Orange County that the Orange County Fire Rescue Department is ready for the next week and the events about to unfold. We have a tried and true hurricane operations plan, a plan that we have utilized many times over the past years. That plan allows us to upstaff our vehicles going into Sunday night to make sure that we have all the resources that we need. We'll be upstaffing some additional boats and woods trucks to allow us to transition through some of those areas that flooding may be present. Like many of you, Orange County Fire Rescue also has 42 homes throughout the community. And we've spent this last week preparing our homes, much like the way we're asking you all to prepare your homes. Shutter the windows, have a plan in place, make sure you have emergency supplies on hand. It's so important to go around the home, take care of any trees, any low-lying limbs that may be concerning at the moment. Bring in the lawn furniture and anything that you don't want to blow around or become a missile to go through any of those windows. We are doing the same thing this week that we're asking all of you to do. One of the other very proactive things that we're involved in at the moment, today and tomorrow, units from the Orange County Fire Rescue Department will be visiting all of the assisted living facilities within unincorporated Orange County. We'll be checking in on those facilities to make sure that they have their emergency action plans in place, that they're reviewing their evacuation plans in case they're needed. We're ensuring that they have generators in place and that those generators will provide the necessary power for the air conditioning units. In addition, post-storm, we'll be going back to those same facilities to ensure that everything is in good order and there are no emergencies that need to be dealt with. We also encourage all of the residents in the mobile home communities, take advantage at this time of the shelters that are being opened. That's so important. We're going to be visiting the mobile home parks tomorrow in unincorporated Orange County and going door to door and really encouraging folks to take advantage of those shelter plans. And I think just to reiterate upon what Director Koch had said, sadly, each hurricane season, members of Orange County Fire Rescue, we respond to the tragic events as a result of generator use. It's so important, if you're going to deploy a generator, read the safety instructions. Do not operate the generator in your homes. Do not operate the generator in the garages. Carbon monoxide poisoning is a real danger here, and every season we encounter some of those tragic events. Next up, I believe, is Sheriff Mina. Thank you.
Good afternoon. The men and women in the Orange County Sheriff's Office are very prepared and very experienced to keep all of our residents safe before, during, and after the storm. Our personnel will be providing security for when the shelters open to keep everyone safe at the shelters. We're urging people that if you see anything suspicious before, during, or after the storm, we know there are many people who want to take advantage when we have these storms. Please call 911. In addition, if you are suspicious or you see what you believe is price gouging, call the Orange County Sheriff's Office as well. Again, can't reiterate enough to make sure that you are prepared, that you have your emergency action plans for your own homes, and notifying the Orange County Sheriff's Office if you see anything suspicious. We're going to have plenty of additional personnel out on the streets to keep everyone safe, before, during, and after the storms, and we'll respond to anything that we deem necessary to help keep this community safe. Thank you. Chair Board Jacobs.
Thank you. On behalf of Orange County Public Schools, our superintendent, our entire board, and our 25,000 employees, I want everybody to know that our top priority is every day the safety of our students. With that in mind, Orange County Public Schools is announcing that we will be closed officially for Tuesday. I'm sure this raises some questions as to what happens before and after Tuesday. And we've made this decision ahead of time because we want to make sure that our parents have an opportunity to make plans for the care of their children on Tuesday, and also to make sure that our faculty is aware of that schedule. Depending upon the storm, and I've said this so many times before, and I think we all know it, if there's anything that we can count on with hurricanes, it's that they can be unpredictable. If things change, that schedule may change. Obviously, if we take a direct hit and the storm stays longer than we expect, that could be extended. But at this point, the announcement is Tuesday alone. What we will do, assuming that we take a direct hit, is immediately, as soon as the winds die down to where we can be safely back out on the roads, our maintenance team will go out. They'll inspect every school to make sure that every school is safe for occupancy. And as soon as we know that, then we will alert families if they need to keep their children out of any school that might have damage. We don't anticipate that. We have had an enormous effort over the last 10 to 15 years of replacing our schools with newer, more modern, and sturdier schools. So we think we're in very good shape as far as that goes. We have programs in place for our children that are on free and reduced lunches to make sure that they don't go without lunch. So we want to encourage our parents to stay connected. We will be communicating with parents through email, through our newsletter that goes out, OC Connect. And if you're not getting any of those for some reason, please go to our website. You cannot miss it. It's ocps.net. The first page will give you instructions how to stay in tune with what's happening at your schools. Our second highest priority during a time like this is the safety of the broader community. And that's why we are so pleased to be able to work with Mayor Demings in making sure that we're making available the facilities that he needs to provide shelters for our entire population and may need sheltering, including food service, custodial services, and anything else that Mayor Demings needs. With that, if there are any questions, I think we're going to turn it back to the sheriff for questions. We appreciate you being part of communicating with our parents. The sheriff, I did it again. No, like 3 times I got Mayor Demings. Thank you, Mayor Demings.
Thank you. Well, we certainly want to focus on those areas where we have senior citizens as well as those who live in, I'm going to say, the manufactured home types of localities. And you heard from the fire chief that we're reaching out to them in advance to make certain that all of their needs are taken care of. And then lastly, those individuals with special needs. And so we are asking that those who have special needs, that they simply call 311 again and register with us so that we know in advance if we have to respond to that location, their homes, for an emergency, et cetera. We have spoken with them in advance.
When do you decide first responders no longer are on those roads, so the first responders are safe?
Well, the decision about whether or not first responders will continue to respond to calls for service will be based upon the weather phenomena at the time. But what I can tell you in terms of the conversation that we've had with the sheriff and the fire chief at this point, what they have said is they will continue to respond as long as it is safe to do so, rather than rely on a specific wind speed. The sheriff's office and the fire department have vehicles that are heavier, larger, that can go through water, and will allow them to perhaps respond beyond what they would normally do on a day-to-day basis.
Chief Fitzgerald, can we ask you a quick question?
Chief?
So, there are 31 nursing homes and ALFs that do not have an approved in-compliant emergency plan. What is the county doing about that? Have you been working with the state to try to get them into compliance, and are they the first places you're going to go?
We're actually going to all of the assisted living facilities within unincorporated Orange County. I believe there's about 90. And I believe there's about 30 nursing home facilities. So the first thing to do is to make contact with each of those facilities, make sure that they have operable generators, or if they've put plans in place to have a generator there, and do the generators work, the air conditioning systems, then to make sure, because all of these facilities are responsible for having an emergency evacuation plan. So we're encouraging them to pull those plans out, to review those plans, to make sure that if they need to move residents from one facility to another facility, that those plans are in place. And we'll be going back right after the storm to check on the conditions of these facilities. That is the role of the fire department.
And so do you anticipate you may have to evacuate some people as you did back in 2017 after Irma?
I anticipate all of that, and we have to be prepared for that. We will ensure, that those residents are safe and secure. That's why we're this very proactive approach of going out prior, and then we will go out post-storm to ensure that those conditions remain in the best light for those residents.
We are coordinating with the state as well. At 3:30 today, Governor DeSantis will be at the Orange County Emergency Operations Center, and we will continue our collaboration with the state. Obviously, our EOC is constantly in communication with them as well. Any other questions?
Mayor, Mayor Dyer this morning suggested that he thought this storm might have the same kind of punch as Hurricane Charlie. Do you have any kind of gut feeling about what kind of storm we're looking at here?
Well, that's hard to say. You know what? I hope that the things that we can control, that's what we're planning to do today. How impactful the storm will be, that's out of our control. I hope that it's far less impactful than what is being predicted today, and I'll leave it at that. But in either case, the professional team, the coordination that you have seen today, we are prepared to respond to whatever level we experience here in the community. In terms of curfews, that is something that we'll make a call on at a later date. As we receive updates about the track of the storm and the potential there, our goal is to keep commerce open as long as we can, to keep people going to work, being able to live as normal as they would otherwise. And then at some point, we'll have to make some decisions about whether or not to invoke curfews. I have spoken with the sheriff, and I'm depending on the sheriff to really coordinate with the other sheriffs here within the region so that there's some consistency across the region if curfews have to be put in place. Typically, curfews are put in place at the highest level of the storm and then post-storm, because that's when we have devastation and we have buildings and homes and what have you really that are not adequately secured. And so if we can prolong the period of time before we go into any type of curfew, that is, I think, most desirable for this community.
The fire chief talked earlier about
the proposed shelters.
Okay.
You mentioned that you will open section 1. Can you tell us just some more information? I'm sure you're working with the school system. And
Yes. We are working with the school district on shelter locations, and then some of our other county parks and recreation facilities potentially will be used for shelters. And that requires tremendous coordination because we do have to staff for those facilities, but we want to do it in a timely manner. If there are evacuations that occur from outlying counties, if they are more directly impacted than we are, we have to plan for that, and then we have to plan for individuals to shelter who are within our community. We are coordinating with our homeless network here as well to ensure that people who live on the streets, they have a place to go that will provide the type of protection that they need as well. Okay, there was a question over here.
Yeah, the fire chief talked a little bit about getting boats prepared and things like that for flooding concerns. Are you guys worried about flooding with this storm, and are there any areas in particular where you kind of got your eye on?
We've been very strategic. Our Public Works Department has worked to lower lake levels and waterbed levels where appropriate in anticipation that we could have a significant rainfall. And so that has already been done at this point. Again, we try to control those things that we can control. Okay. And there was a question perhaps somewhere.
What's the maximum capacity for shelters here?
Well, depending upon, we're looking to open 12 shelters, and Keith, what's the maximum number that those shelters could hold?
Those 12 could probably hold in the neighborhood of 5,000 to 6,000.
Okay. Did you hear that? 5,000 to 6,000 people with the 12.
And that's based on the historical values too.
Certainly, if we had the need to open additional shelters, we would do that in consultation with the school district as well, and work with the American Red Cross and other local entities to make certain that we could adequately staff it and provide for the needs of those people in shelter.
And what should people bring if they are going to be coming to Orange County Shelter?
Okay, I'll let the emergency manager kind of walk through that. The question is, what should they bring? And what should they not bring, maybe?
Don't bring the lazy boy recliner. Don't bring a big mattress. We need you to bring your own comfort level, pillow, sheet, cover sheet, blanket if you need it. The space that you're allowed in a general population shelter is a floor space. We don't provide cots, so you need to bring whatever will make you most comfortable, but do not bring your beds or cots like that. For the special needs shelter, there's a larger space provided. There's also space provided for your caretaker. We want you, if you're a special needs client, we want you to bring your caretaker if you have one. They are welcome to come with you. Also, for those special needs shelters, your pets are welcome to come with you too. For those in the general population shelters, bring some, especially if you're coming with children, bring something to keep yourself occupied. Games, books, things like that. Again, this event is a little bit different than Charlie. Charlie was a very fast-moving storm coming through the county. This is going to be a protracted, if it does continue to follow that track. We're going to look at more hours in a shelter situation. Even if it's in your home, make sure that you've got things to entertain. This may not be a quick event. So is it going to be worse? Nobody knows. We're not meteorologists. We're not hurricane experts. And it seems like we've been on the outer edge of that 5-day cone of uncertainty for like 6 days now. So it just keeps slowing down and keeping us hanging on that edge. So still hopefully another day or two, we will have a better idea on what kind of conditions to expect.
Okay, let me also do something here. We have our Orange County Director of Public Safety here, Mr. Danny Banks. I'm going to interject Danny into this at this point to offer some additional explanation. advice.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll add a couple answers to one of those questions. An important thing about shelters is you have to bring your own food and water as well. They're self-sustaining. The shelter environment, those of us who have been in it, it's not great comfort, but you have to bring your own food, water, and your bedding material. A discussion about the planning, and one of them was mention of flood. We know there's particular areas in Orange County that are already prone to flooding. We've seen it happen just in our afternoon thunderstorms of the last month. Thousands of Orange County employees are already preparing for that, and we're focusing on those particular areas now that we're known to be prone to flooding. Two different types of storms we're prepared for. Yesterday's storm looked like it was going to come on us and maybe be a Category 3 hurricane. Today, that forecast has changed a little bit, but I don't want people to be misled to think that we may only be in for a Category 1 or maybe even tropical storm force. If we remember back historically, even in Orange County, things back to even Tropical Storm Faye, rain may be our worst problem in Orange County, not the winds. Rain may be, in a slow storm that sits over us for 2 or even 3 days will deposit a lot of rain. So preparedness for flooding is one of our major priorities right now. All those things that you heard about, the fire chief, the sheriff certainly, and the emergency management, things that have been in place for the last 3 days now, preparing Orange County to both prepare for and then afterwards respond to the effects of what has occurred in Orange County to our residents.
If somebody flooded during Irma, they can pretty much expect they might need to take those precautions now as well.
Well, we learned from Irma in Orange County. We learned where those areas are, so that's why we got a little more aggressive in Orange County on our sandbags. If you've noticed, this year was the first year we ever implemented a self-serve sandbag opportunity in Orange County. That's been going on for over a week now. As the mayor spoke of, over 50,000 sandbags have already been distributed. Over 40,000 of those were self-service. That has never occurred before. The pre-filled, which is a historic hallmark of Orange County, that started this morning. We've got 90,000 of those prepared and are going out right now. But particularly those areas that are focused, those high water volume areas that we know so well, those are the areas that need to be concerned about flooding. Take use of those sandbags, and we've strategically focused some of our resources to try and reduce those water loads in those areas, depending on what the impact of the storm will bring.
There's 1 or 2 more questions.
I just need a distinction on level 2, level 3, so viewers at home understand. I'm not clear on that.
So a level 3 at an emergency management level is a normal activation. That's what they call monitoring. Everybody knows I don't really like that word. We're doing way more than monitoring. But a level 2 is an activation of all of our ESF decks, emergency support functions, within the emergency management. We are initiating to a level 2 today, but stepping up to a level 1, which is top-notch activation. We're going to that tomorrow. Yes, that's almost 2 days or a day and a half in advance of the storm, but the importance of that is activating at a level 1 to ensure every government resource that we have in Orange County is sitting at a table in that emergency management office, prepared for what is occurring coming into the storm, riding through the storm, and then after the storm. That's going to be one of our most important times for government services, when we're starting getting out in the community and finding out what happened to our community and what can we do to make it better. So, Mike, that level 1 will start tomorrow, and it'll be a 24/7 operation from then on.
So 3 to 2 starts at what time today?
I'm sorry. This afternoon. In fact, already this afternoon, we'll be transitioning to a level 2 activation for Orange County, and then switching to a level 1 tomorrow morning at 0800.
So say by news time tonight, 5 o'clock,
We will be at a level 2 by that time, yes.
Mayor, it looks like the team's ready.
What I will tell you is that I think the blessing for us is that this is a well-experienced team because of the various disasters that we've had to respond to as a community. We've trained well, and then there's no substitute for experience, and so it's really for all of us that are here, it's showtime for us, and so we're ready. Thank you all very much.